This is Boxing Tickets NI, and we're joined with Jamie Morrissey. How are you, Jamie?
All is good, man. I'm delighted to be on this. Nice experience.
It's definitely a pleasure to have you. I know, obviously, I think it was Graham that reached out this the other day and says, get Jamie on. And, you know, obviously you messaged us and I thought, why not?
Yeah. Graham's the man. Been working really hard with Graham, man. Graham has a fight coming after me, a week after me. And the two of us are just kind of perfect styles. We were talking about my Muay Thai style was more so pressing, whereas in boxing, I aim to use my height and stay back. And Graham is as good a pressure fighter as you'll come across, man. He really keeps coming and keeps coming. So the contrast has worked well in both our favours, I feel, you know.
And sort of Graham, sort of when we've you know, I've spoke to quite a bit, you know, the last couple of years, he obviously hadn't, you know, I think Graham turned pro at what, 30? And obviously didn't obviously have probably wasn't the wrong sort of tracks in life, and boxing's obviously propelled him into the right tracks of life. And you know, he's getting what, just over 2 weeks now until obviously it's his dream fight in America as well. So I'm sure he'll be like a kid at Christmas going about for a few weeks afterwards.
That's it. It's a great thing, man. It really is, because I'm from the same area, Limerick, where Graham is from. I knew Graham prior to his turnaround, and what Graham has done is nothing short of inspiring, to be honest. You know, I know Graham a long time, and he's always been boxing crazy. You know, always loved boxing, but you know, as he'd admit to you, probably didn't have the discipline or the direction at one point to go and pursue what he wanted to do. And now he is as driven as an individual as I've met. You know, the guy is on a mission, and he's well and truly a workhorse. He really is, you know, and he deserves everything he's getting at this point.
It definitely does, and say hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing obviously comes in the way up, obviously with the pandemic and everything else. Hopefully nothing gets in the way of his fight in America in 2 weeks' time. Sort of rolling back, you wouldn't have any experience obviously as a boxer, Jamie. You've come up through the Muay Thai. It's pronouncing it right. I think sort of when I say it, I nearly put an accent sort of on.
Muay Thai, yeah.
Muay Thai. But what got you obviously into combat sports initially?
What got me into combat sports? I suppose I was always quite athletic. I played sports non-stop growing up, and I moved to Mexico in college at probably an age, again like Graham, I was a bit misdirected at that age, and I moved to Mexico with college. That kind of gave me a new lease of life, and over there I started bodybuilding. And when I came home, I was after increasing my stature and my size quite a bit, but bodybuilding had grown a bit monotonous to me, and I just kind of said, look, if I'm working this hard every day, maintaining my diet, why not do something I love, which was, to be honest, again, like Graham, I probably would have been involved in, I always liked to fight as well, like I really did. I always loved fighting. I don't want to that sounds generic and stuff, but it's just the truth. And I always loved watching fights, a huge fight fan. So I just said, if I'm working hard and maintaining my diet and being this disciplined, I might as well aim towards something. So I went into I remember I had a memory of a gym. I remember being a young fella and hearing kind of music I like, some good hip hop music playing, and I looked in the gym and saw around. And then I thought to myself, I'll go back to that gym and see what the story was. I went back there, and then I suppose 3 months after that, I had my first fight. It just snowballed, you know. So
it was pretty much late going, sort of, you know, late teenage years, sort of, you're getting into it.
Oh, what age? It was 22, man. 22. I walked into the Muay Thai. 22, yeah.
And so it was just sort of it was a more of a, you were curious sort of thing, or, you know, it's give it a try and see.
Yeah, it was not so much curious, but it was just like it was a new chapter in my life all out. When I got to Mexico, I was there for 6 months. I started bodybuilding. When I came home from Mexico, I had gotten to the point in terms of my body where I wanted to be. It was probably a dissatisfaction with myself over in Mexico that led to me pursue bodybuilding and stuff in that sense. But when I came home, I wanted to continue this new chapter of discipline, good diet, and motivating activities. So I said, I have to spend this energy in somewhere that's of interest to me and a passion, and that was fighting. So I went in there, and I went there with, it wasn't so much curiosity. I knew full intention to go and fight and continue to do so, you know.
Mm-hmm. And sort of from some of the clips I've sort of watched of your fights and things like that, you know, I wouldn't probably have a great knowledge of Muay Thai fighting and things like that, but using your shins and stuff, you know, they kick people and things like that, it can be pretty brutal. And it's thing, I can remember a UFC fighter a couple of years ago that obviously snapped his leg in two from obviously kicking somebody. I think it was defending a kick, you know. So probably for you as a boxer, it's going to be really good because you're bound to have obviously really strong legs.
Yeah, it's true. You know, Muay Thai are truly a gritty sport. It really is gritty. In relation to how it helped in boxing, like even translating the boxing, that's the way I looked at things at the start, was that Muay Thai might be that bit grittier, but boxing is really no joke either. They're different sports in terms of Muay Thai, you're taking a lot of damage in your legs and stuff like that. Whereas boxing is so much more, like everyone I fight is going to have to try and get close to me because my range, I'm huge for my weight class. I really am, like, you know. I'm in the process now of cutting weight. I'm probably at 79 kg, but I'm standing 6'5" and quite a broad 6'5". And I'm noticing now in boxing with the amount of sparring, it really is attrition also at its finest, you know. But Muay Thai is definitely a gritty sport, and it's prepared me for, in terms of toughness and stuff like that, definitely second to none, you know.
Yeah, but at 6'5" at the weight class you're sort of going to be at, you're in the realms of heavyweight territory at that height, you know.
Absolutely.
So, it's obviously it's playing into your own advantages. Then, you know, obviously another Irish boxer probably been golfing in classes, Gary Cully, you know, 6'2", 6'3" as a lightweight, you know, and it's deadly, but you have to use these things to your advantage nowadays, you know.
Exactly. And that's what my coaches we've been building on that, I suppose, for the last, since you saw those videos, you were saying probably a year's time. My coaches really fine details. I have great coaching behind me, and just really utilising my height. And you're just mentioning Gary Cully there. I'll be in Peter Taylor sparring a bit. That guy's a phenomenal operator, you know, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in action tomorrow.
And I guess obviously the thing for you then, obviously moving across then, is probably nearly somebody having to tape your legs up so that whenever things gets down and dirty in a fight, that you're going, I better not use my legs.
That's what Leonard Gunnan was saying the other day also to me. But no, I would never. I'm getting used to the boxing now. It's just boxing non-stop every day for the last countless months. So it's all boxing.
And sort of as you're saying there, a big coaching and things as well, you're being trained by Sean Kelly, I believe.
Yeah, Sean Kelly. Sean Kelly's training me. He's probably he's a very, very active and busy coach now in Limerick. He was operating prior to the lockdown out of Muay Thai boxing gym here in Muay Thai. But Sean has been around the game his whole life. You know, he was a good, successful amateur boxer himself. Just great knowledge. Sean's a young guy as well. He's 28 or 29, but really get along with the guy, and his styles of teaching and the style he's trying to implement into my game. Everything is working quite well. I really enjoy working with him. I like what attracted me to boxing initially, I suppose, and always was just that those styles like you see with Jones Jr. and just that like, whereas Muay Thai, yes, you get that elegance in different styles, but not like boxing with the drops and the pops and the element of kind of head movement and stuff like that. Sean really kind of embraces that style. So I'm loving working with the guy. And he's a joy to work with. Good guy.
And he's obviously going to be busy the next few weeks as well. Tell me this, Jamie, what is it about Limerick at the moment? You know, it's a place that's on the rise. You've got yourself, you've got Graham, you've the Donovan brothers, and also Jason Harty as well. I probably can't imagine, I can't even remember, obviously, so many Limerick fighters, you know, in the pro circuit at once. So, you know, it's probably good in the way that you all know each other, because it's going to help you bring each other all on.
Exactly. Oh, we spar so hard below all of us, and I'm really grateful to be a part of a team like that. It's just, I suppose, if you look at even like a Belgium soccer team, or if you look at Limerick hurling at the minute, you just get golden generations, and that's what you're looking at here. Obviously, like, Graham has been around the sport a long time, and then with the three boys with Jason, Edward, and Paddy, they're obviously all family. You know, Jason's the boy's brother-in-law, so they've come up together also, and yeah, it's falling together beautiful. In fairness, like one of my other coaches, so I'm also coached by Paddy's father, Gugu, and Martin Donovan, and also my Thai boxing coach Rob is still involved. But like, Martin is a phenomenal coach in terms of what he's done with the boys, and it's just, in truth, a golden generation. I'm delighted to be part of it. But my where I'm at in boxing, as I said, I have a long way to go, but where I'm at the minute and the improvements I've made has been a lot down to being part of a team like that. You know, we spar hard and quite a lot, like, you know.
And would you probably, would it probably be fair to say that probably Andy Lee's success in the past is probably bringing Limerick on more now, because, obviously I'm been a world champion. People want to obviously be the next world champion from Limerick as well. So might be fair to say in a way that probably so many pros now been there. It's probably because of what Andy's done in the past.
Oh, all day, man. Andy's, in my eyes, one of the most unsung heroes in Irish history. You know, the guy was a legitimate, phenomenal world champion, and we all take inspiration from him. Obviously, he's looking after Paddy on a personal level, managing him, and like, you know, I've gone up sparring Jason Quigley, and you know, we'd see Andy around the place. He's no doubt a hugely motivating factor for myself, and undoubtedly for the boys also. You know.
Yep, and obviously this week the news was sort of broke as well that he's going to be training Australian heavyweight Joe Parker as well. You know, so
exciting.
So his obviously talents are going worldwide now, not just for his boxing, but also for his coaching ability as well.
No, you said it, and even if you hear the guy talking on punditry, he's just he draw you in a phenomenal pundit as well. Just one of those boxing brains, you know.
He's one of them people when he speaks, all he can do is listen. You know, it's not like you can interrupt him and try and give your point of view. He's listening, and you want to hear him, and it's just like a soothing sort of blend to him. But he speaks so much sense in boxing.
Exactly, he doesn't waste words at all. When he speaks, you listen. No, you said it.
Exactly. So obviously, what would you obviously you've been training obviously the lads in the gym quite a lot. Paddy obviously has been highly thought of even before his pro debut that he was going to be world champion. His brother obviously, I know, himself and Eddie were obviously on IFL all the week, and Paddy, I think was it Paddy said that, no, I think it was Andy Lee actually said that Eddie's actually better than Paddy, or I think maybe they're just doing a brotherly wind up. So I think they were saying if the money's right, they might go at it.
Yeah, listen, the two of them are just brilliant operators. Paddy, in truth, Paddy is just world class, but the two of them are world class. Paddy's a real natural southpaw, and you won't see Paddy switch too often, but he's mastered that southpaw game. You just won't see a more silky boxer. Whereas Edward will switch. He's a switch hitter, and I must have sparred. I'm sparring Edward now since before I switched to boxing. My last kind of 4 Thai boxing fights, I was sparring Edward non-stop. And two good guys, and I probably sparred no one more than Edward, but you got to watch out for Edward as well. The guy's a really, really skillful switch hitter, and I suppose anyone that's a European champion, you're looking at real pedigree boxing there from an amateur perspective. And I'm excited. I believe him and Jason are the week after me, so I hope to be sitting down with a big pizza and relaxing and watching that, you know.
It definitely was. I think obviously them two's obviously fighting on the 26th, and then obviously you Graham out on the 27th in America.
That's right.
Obviously, you make your own debut in Luxembourg next Saturday. I can see obviously the buzz and excitement sort of there for you, and finally, after months and months of hard work, you're finally going to get into the ring as a pro boxer. How much are you looking forward to it?
I tell you what, I've never been so excited to fight. I've never been so excited for it. I always loved Muay Thai, and the thing about Muay Thai was, like, even though it mightn't be as prominent on a global scale or as well known as a global scale, well, it kind of is, but it doesn't get that mainstream attention like you'd see maybe on Sky Sports and stuff like that. Muay Thai shows were electric, truly electric. So I loved Muay Thai, but I'm so excited for this boxing journey. I really am, and I have a lot of work to do. Like, there's no doubt about it. I have a lot of work to do. But from where I was to where I am now, I know at the rate of whatever sport I've played, I know the rate I can improve at, because I work hard, and when I have a true passion for something, I stick at it and I get obsessed with it, and how quick I'm improving at boxing. I'm excited. I'm really excited for it. But I've never been more excited for a fight. It's genuinely a dream come true. I have a few dreams that I've had with me there since I was a child, and professional boxing is certainly one of them.
Yep, it definitely is. And I say, what sort of weight class are you looking to campaign at?
So I suppose middle and super middleweight. I've fought as low as middleweight. I suppose this time last year I fought at 72.5 kg in Limerick in Muay Thai, and that was a struggle for me. This fight is going to take place at 75.6 kg, so just below super middleweight, kind of catch weight. And I suppose the super middleweight campaign would suit me long term.
Yep, and obviously, as I say, it's not like when you switch from one grade of a sport and then another, you've been so obviously used to cutting weight. I'm not saying, as I say, I wouldn't say I would have a lot of knowledge in obviously Muay Thai, but I know obviously in UFC and things like that, it's probably more on heavier weight cuts. Taking a lot of weight off very quickly. With Muay Thai, would you have had gradual sort of weight cuts each week as you're moving into your fight?
No, we do it. I suppose most of my cuts, I'd always be cutting from 81 or 82, and I most regularly fought around the 75, 76 kg mark. So mostly fight week. I used to start my cuts on the Tuesday fight weigh in on the Friday, and it would be just take my carbs out, and then sweat out the water. And of course, it would be tough every time, but I never missed a weigh-in in my life. You know what I mean? So it's another day for me in that sense.
It is. So it's something you've obviously been well used to, and obviously other aspects of that as well. You've been used to selling tickets and obviously trying to get sponsorship as well. So I know, and obviously an article you did do recently, you've obviously said you're probably more equipped than fighters at maybe 4 or 5 fights as a pro, because you've been used to selling tickets. You've got support and stuff behind you that's probably going to come across in the boxing. So, how much of a factor is that going to help?
Well, yeah, I'm so grateful for the support I get in the city. At the Thai boxing shows, the support has been really, really evident. And Limerick really are just incredible. Whatever sports team, if you look at our Limerick fans from hurling and our boxing, our fighting fans, it's just been incredible throughout the years. So it's something I'm really grateful for. And let's be real, it's something that's a big part of and a very important factor in professional boxing and pro sports, is the ability to sell tickets. And that's something I can say with the proof behind me I do bring to the table.
There we go, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. But it's something I do bring to the table and something I'm very grateful about. Just, I suppose, Limerick fans, phenomenal, man. Truly phenomenal. And it's something that I do have behind me. And in relation to sponsors, tough time to go asking for sponsors. You know what I mean? It's a real tough to go ask, but I've been okay in that sense so far. But a tough time also. I reckon I'd be doing better without the lockdown, but I'm still grateful for what I have.
And I guess, obviously, you wouldn't have got, obviously, the fight in Luxembourg if obviously didn't have the support of sponsors and stuff there, because, I know Boxing Ireland have quite a few boxers in the books, but some obviously haven't had the sponsorship there to help. So, it's shown how important, I guess, with obviously this coming out of a pandemic, it's shown how important sponsorship is to boxers and helping them improve their careers.
Absolutely, it's huge. And it's probably something that you wouldn't... of course, a motivating factor going from Muay Thai to boxing is also is money also. You know what I mean? Because boxing long term is probably a more lucrative career. Whereas I fought at quite high levels in Muay Thai, and the money wasn't great really. For some of the levels you're fighting at, it wasn't great. But when I came to boxing, something you don't know at the start is the situation you're facing at the start. So sponsors are well and truly essential in that sense. Yeah.
Definitely is. So sort of, what would your sort of accomplishments have been in Muay Thai? I know you've been Irish champion. What sort of level, sort of, from the outside, sort of looking in, it's hard to know if the sort of levels it is in Muay Thai. So what sort of level would you campaign at?
Yeah, so I was the first ever Limerick professional Muay Thai champion. So Irish, the first ever Irish professional champion from Limerick. So I was that's to be honest, that's one of my proudest achievements. And listen, I'll tell you the truth. I started fighting. I've lost 2 fights in the country. I've had a lot of fights. I started fighting. I won some fights, but I got that shot very quick for that belt. They're prestigious belts. Those ISK belts are prestigious, and I got that shot very quick. And to tell you the truth, based on ticket sales. But after winning the belt, and then after I beat the top guys around me. I lost my belt. I went back and beat him in a rematch and beat some other top guys around me. That proved I was on that level. But it just shows the importance of selling tickets also. But the belt I won was a very prestigious belt to win. And it's probably undoubtedly one of my proudest achievements today. Has been a first ever champion in that sense. But I've had big wins. I won a 4-man tournament that was put me in line for a European shot. I suppose, I fought in Thailand. I fought in the States' biggest promotion. I fought a lot of top guys in Muay Thai.
So obviously, when you go to Luxembourg next week, it'll not be something that's different to you and fighting in different countries as well.
No, it really won't. Like, going out to Thailand, I suppose, was as isolating as it gets. In truth, I wasn't in the sport that much. I've always been really game. I like to fight, so the opportunity came. It was a sponsored trip, and I got sent out there. But that was as isolating as it gets. You know what I mean? You might as well be on an alien planet in terms of language, in terms of culture barriers. And I was out there on my own, So, again, it will be a walk in the park compared to what that was,
Yeah, fantastic. And sort of, being an Irish Muay Thai champion, obviously the next goal, obviously, within boxing then, is to become an Irish boxing champion as well.
That is the dream, though. That is the short-term dream, to be honest. I want to stay as active as possible. I feel like I'm after making a lot of huge strides in terms of my mind, I feel, and in terms of really, really performing at my best. So I've never been so excited to fight and to I just want to keep fighting and keep fighting. In Muay Thai, I used to love fighting also, but after a fight, I'd take my time, I'd relax. I mightn't have stayed as active in the gym. I've never been so obsessed with fighting, and I want to keep scrapping now at this stage, and hopefully stay busy. And please God, I can put a good run together and get an Irish title fight soon. There's some good names out there to fight. I don't want to be mentioning names before my own pro debut, because I have a lot to prove. You know, yep. I don't blame people if they're looking at me going, "Who's this fella coming in?" You know what I mean? I wouldn't blame it, and that's the way sport is. That's the way sport was when I was playing soccer. That's the way sport was. That's the way I don't know much about the boxing scene. I'm new to it, but I know a bit. But the Muay Thai, of course, there's bitterness and pride everywhere. I'm sure it's like that. It's like that in every sports scene. So I'm sure there's people looking at me going, "Who's this fella?" But I have to prove my worth first, and then I can start talking about people.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess sometimes it's not more for call out. Sometimes it's probably more you want to test yourself to sort of levels. But you know, the good thing is that there's no point you before you even made your debut going, "I'm going to become a world champion," because everybody sort of does it nowadays. And people are here and they go, "There's another boxer that thinks he's a world champion and hasn't even put a glove on yet."
There you go.
Have you sort of had a plan with Stephen Sharpe? And I know you've obviously spoke to him quite a bit, but is a plan to obviously keep you as busy as he can get you fights?
I've spoken to Stephen a bit, yeah, and he knows how active I want to stay. In terms, I whatever I do, I always have a quite a clear and concise vision in place, and I have a plan and a vision in place with this, and it's just I want to stay active as possible. I want to get to 3-5 5-0. I have certain names there that I know are in line for Irish titles, and I want to fight them. In truth, I feel that the Muay Thai scene is brilliant because the best guys fight the best guys in the regular. Maybe I want to initiate some of those fights in Ireland. There's some domestic fights. I'm interested in domestic fights. I'm a fighter. I want to fight the best guys, and I want to challenge myself. I'm not in this to, as I said initially, to make up the numbers, and I'm not in this to. I'm not happy with just crossing over and making this dream come true in my debut. I want to really challenge myself and push myself as far as I can go. And we as human entities, we are limitless. And I know that myself, but I have a lot of work to do in relation to where I want to get to. But I have a clear vision in place. And it's just about next week first, and then we can start talking about that.
Exactly. And I know that obviously Leonard and Stephen and Dennis obviously at Run Boxing Ireland, they always like to do in-house fights, so they're always looking at BA Celtic, BA Irish title belts and stuff as well, so I'm sure that'll be something to be looked at down the line once you've a few fights ticked under your belt.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the plan then to obviously get you crossed over, properly. Obviously, from moving from using your feet to not using your feet. I'm guessing obviously the plans to give you a few journeyman type fighters to obviously find your way in boxing first and foremost.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I don't you have that name, journeyman. I'm not looking at any of these guys in that sense because let's be honest, they're going to have more experience than me. There's I know a boxer who I look at as truly world class in Limerick lost a guy with a similar record that I'm going fighting. I know another kickboxer who I think's a real talented guy crossed over from Dublin. He lost a guy with a record like that. So I'm not looking at that in any sense. I'm coming here fighting like it's Jason Harty or Edward, like one of my spars. I'm taking it like that. That's the way I have to take it, because I know my ability and I know what I'm capable of, and I know where I can get to. But I can't take any of these guys lightly either, not at all. So I'm coming here with trying to be at my very, very best, and winning isn't always enough. You want to show how good you are and prove some people wrong. Because I'm sure, as I said, there's people fighting this move. I know how good I can be, so I want to show that. That's what this is about in this fight. And but first and foremost, it's about winning. Yeah,
and that's the way you sort of you want to be. Explain the sort of style you would have. Obviously, I'm guessing with you being from a Muay Thai sort of thing, is it more on a pressure fighter type of thing?
I like to be on the front foot. I do like to be on the front foot. But my people will see, and that's one thing I can promise next week, is that people will see my boxing style is going to be chalk and cheese to my Muay Thai style. Boxing always suited me more, always. Muay Thai, I loved my gym in Muay Thai. Me and my coach having a special relationship. We were doing our thing. But boxing, I love boxing, and I'm going to embrace a certain style of boxing that I like more, and I'm excited to do so. So my style as a fighter, I suppose my body stature will tell you what kind of style fighter I am. I stand tall, everything. It's not as if my opponent's going to be looking at this video, so everything will be behind the jab and long shots, and hopefully I can punish him if he steps in and make him twice about stepping in again with my backhand. You know what I mean? And that's what the story's going to be.
Fantastic. Well, look, obviously, thank you obviously very much for obviously taking about half an hour out of your time. I know obviously you're going to have your final spar now this evening, so obviously it's now getting yourself planned and ready for that.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Jamie, we obviously wish you all the very best of luck with your debut next week, and I'm sure we'll catch up again soon.
I'd love to, man. And thanks, William, for having me on your platform. I enjoyed that. All right.
Cheers. And thanks very much.
Yeah, anyone looking, do tune in next week. And thanks, William, for watching.